Yes guys, welcome back. We are back in Dublin today. We're here at Premium Health and Wellness. It is clients meetup day, so team seminar day today. So we have a lot of gang already inside. We are going to get started, take them through a few training bits. And yeah, it's just great to see everyone in person, link up and just kind of celebrate the community that's kind of being built and get everyone to kind of meet each other. And yeah, it's Christmas. Everyone's in a good mood. It's good vibes. It's good to be back. So yeah, there's Tom as well. Tom travelled down from Galway. So everyone travelling from everywhere today. So I'm very grateful. And I love days like this. So I'm super excited. So let's get in and let's get on with the day. Never any pressure. Fucking hell. I hate to start today. I'm like, but most of you know each other at this stage. So if you don't, like I said, events like this, don't just shy away and hide in the corner. Talk to each other. It's I want to build like a community here where people make friends, meet I've said this before, meet like-minded people that they may not have in their own life. If most of us work normal jobs or don't really surround ourselves with people who train, etc. as well, we're not really surrounded with that. So coming to events like these, even chatting to each other on Instagram or whatever, and just having that people to bounce off that are on the same journey, are chasing the same vision, etc. as well. I think it's important. Because it's very easy, we can just get lost and then stray away from our goals, etc. just because people around us aren't like-minded, and it's very easy to do so. I think as well, a lot of people here, some people compete, some people don't even have any goal of that in the future. Some people are just looking to get in shape for a holiday, lose some body fat, build some muscle. So I think sometimes people coming to these feel a bit like, there's people that compete here, I don't want to go, I feel a bit out of place, but it's completely irrelevant. And people who do compete or anything like this, you'll realise that they are the most friendly people. So I don't want anyone to feel like whatever your goals are, you're not as important as somebody else or what they're doing, or it's irrelevant. And you'll know that everyone here, you're here for the same reason. It's to become better versions of yourself. And ultimately, everyone has their goals and they're doing this for the same reason, as an escape, as something that gives them joy, gives them happiness, keeps them healthy, keeps them fit. And then the goals that you have outside of that, whether that is to step on stage, a photo shoot, lose body fat, that's just something that's just a tangent that goes off in terms of what you're aiming towards on that journey. The journey is the same for everyone, but then everyone just branches off in their own little directions as to where they're going with that. But it doesn't make anyone better or worse, or it's just different angles veering off the same journey. Does that make sense? So just don't feel like you're on less of a path than someone else just because your goals are different. Your goal is serious. And I want you to take it serious and realise that, put everything into that as well. And I feel like looking at goals going into this year, I think people always say, I want to achieve this, but I don't want to step on stage, or I don't want to do a photo shoot, whatever, but that's okay. But it doesn't mean you don't have to put everything into the goal that you do have. So just because if your goal is, say, I want to lose 5 kilo for a holiday, why can't you put everything into that? Why can't you have the mindset that, right, that's my goal, but I'm going to put everything into that and make sure I'm going to be the best version of myself for that. And I think going into the new year, realising that there's levels, and that's what I try and pull it out of everyone as well. If you're doing well, yes, but I'll always try and pull more. Regardless, you can be like, yeah, I'm doing great, I've lost this. Yes, but this is where you can go, this is what you can do, because there's no limits. And I think, again, just sometimes in the environments we're in, we don't necessarily realise that. My goal here is always to make you realise there are more limits, and to not put limits on where you're going and what you can achieve. So just realise that going into the new year as well. Everyone has their goals, and everyone has a timelines now mapped out for coming into the new year and what we're trying to achieve. But realise that where you think you're going, there's probably still another 1 or 2 levels beyond where you think you're going to end up. So don't just be like, right, I know where I want to get to. Right, what more can I do here? And if I'm trying to pull you up, just trust me. You're going to hate me at times, but it's because I know there's more there. And I wouldn't pull you up or push you on or say, look, this is good, but this is not good enough. I'm not going to say stuff like this if I didn't believe that you were able for it. Right, guys, so just find space, just so you can see, just so you can hear. With a hamstring curl, with certain exercise, you're going to always have to do, you're going to have to do more warm-ups depending on what the exercise is. So with a hamstring curl, it's not going to, you're not going to be working with crazy load in a hamstring curl. So you're not going to have to do many warm-up sets. Depends on the exercise and depends what time of the session it's at. So for example, if it's a hamstring curl at the end of a session, you may not have to do a warm-up set. You may be like, you know what, I'm ready to go. I've done the whole session so far. Or you may just do one and then crack on. But at the start, you may have to do maybe 2, maybe 3, depending on how strong you are. But again, it's a movement that you're not going to be using crazy weight on. So it's going to be maybe 2 warm-up sets today. And then we'll go into a working set. And then you'll see as we go into other exercises like leg press or something, and maybe warm-up sets, because it's going to be heavier weight, bigger movements. It's going to require more. So it just depends. Time of the session and what exercise it actually is. So first of all, Shauna's knees are in line with the way it actually bends. So the pivot point there, where it actually turns, her knees are like directly in line with that, which is perfect. So there's actually not much to touch on here, which is great. So basically, what she's doing here is she's coming up and she's holding the squeeze at the top for half a second. And in here, she's controlling it down, a slight pause at the bottom, and then going. So what a lot of people do here, Shauna, just go like 4 more reps here because it's only light. What a lot of people do here is they'll just kick the weight up to the top. They'll move the weight, but it's not really, you're not going to be getting as much hamstring. You're going to be using absolutely everything. So what you're looking for is from that bottom position, you're all good, Shauna. Thank you. So from that bottom position, you can go up. No. And relax. Yeah, you can jump up. Perfect. We'll do like one more warm up and then we'll work. Just relax for a second. What a lot of people do is they'll just kick the weight up and down. And see there at the bottom position. Like if you just kick that up compared to dragging it, it's a lot harder when you drag it.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder. And I think what a lot of people want to get away from it being hard. Mentally, our brain doesn't want us to lean into that discomfort when it starts to get difficult. But that's kind of what you want to try and aim for. So when it starts to get hard, it's good. So don't let your brain tell you that, right, I have to kick up here, I have to speed up. Because it's going to tell you that, and especially when it starts to get more difficult, you're going to want to just launch that weight back up to the top. But if you can just keep in your mind and tell yourself, right, like I need to stay in the set, is a phrase I always use. But if you can stay in that set and just think of the cue of what you're trying to do, which is dragging rather than kicking, you're going to get so much more from the hamstring. So I think a phrase I like to use, sorry Andy, I think a phrase I like to use is aggressively contract. So rather than kick in, and rather than just kind of bringing it up super slow, squeeze the muscle up, but like aggressively, put some power and some force into it as well. So see the way these are pointing out a little bit? If you can, there, that's perfect. It's going to feel a bit different. Squeeze, hold, control. Good. Does that feel any different with your feet in?
Yeah.
A touch? Yeah.
I know, it feels weird to me, like the front of me, like so weird.
You do that, yeah? I think with that, I think feet will always want to kind of veer out. So even if you don't rotate in, even if you try and keep them straight, I feel like it just gives a bit of a better connection to the hamstrings as well. So try for your working set as well and we'll see. So that set there, she's done 4 reps. I think a lot of people will, if they're doing warm-up sets, they'll do like 10 reps or 12 reps all the way up to their working set. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like it's going to take a lot out of your energy for your actual working set then. So if you're doing realistically, the warm-up sets, it's not a way where it's going to really cause much growth or much progression, you know, because we want to be taking it to failure. And if you're doing a warm-up weight, it's not necessarily going to be taking it to failure. So you're going to do 12 reps or whatever in a warm-up. It's not near failure, and you've just taken loads of energy away from yourself for the actual weight that's going to matter. So there, I wanted Shauna to just get a feel for that weight as she builds up to her top weight, but not take too much energy. So she's done 4 reps, everything feels good. She got a feel for the weight. It hasn't buried her in terms of like fatigue or like built up like a lot of fatigue in her hamstrings. And now she still feels pretty fresh for that next set, where now she can put her energy in because now she's going to be taking this to failure. Does that make sense? So just stay there for 1 second. So here as well, what a lot of people will do is they'll like arch up and arch their back, but you'll actually see that like she's the opposite. She has like her back nearly like pushed out. So there's no like arch here, so that's like straight, and now it's literally just hamstring. Right, let's go. Yeah. So there's no kicking here on hamstring and back arch, and it's literally just hamstring pulling. Good. 3. Control. Control. I want you to make them harder. Hold. Squeeze. Okay, take your time. Don't rush. Squeeze. Still good. Don't think about the reps. Just make them good. Squeeze. Don't let the feet kick out for me. Straighter. That's better. Way better. Take your time. Squeeze. Hold. Control. Squeeze. She's going to want to break down here. Don't break down. Pull. Control. Don't break down. Control. Pull. No. Stay. Right. Breathe. Go back in for me. Right. Drag. Just stay with it. Control. I'm not going to make you do anything you can't do. Stay with it. Drag. I have you. Control. You've one more. I have you. Come on. Drag. Give me one more. I'm going to help. Come on, Shauna. Drag. This is the one. Finish it. Hold that. Squeeze. Control. Very good. Good. Excellent. How'd that feel? So on them last couple of reps, again, what did you want to do? You just want to get out with that. It's sore. You don't want to be in that. Your body doesn't want to be in that when it's happening. But stay with it. Even there when I was like, no, go back in. Because when it starts to get sore, you're going to want to jump out, but you don't realize how much more you actually have. And even that last rep, when I was like, go again, you wanted to start coming back down. And if you have a spotter, you're not always going to have a spotter, but if you have one for that last rep, just as well, I didn't just take the pad off her. I just went through her feet. So it was like guiding it with her, if that makes sense. I wasn't taking it all off her. It was just kind of going through that last rep just to kind of force a little bit more out. But again, it's just realizing that even though that was a hard set before, 100%, and that wasn't you not training hard, because it was you training hard. But again, there's just another level that you don't realize sometimes. You know what I mean? So you train very hard, but now if there's another level that can be reached, imagine how much more progress you can get from that. The thing is, you're in the gym, you're doing these sets. So why wouldn't you? You're there. You've got yourself off the sofa. You're on the machine. So why not just fucking go there? If you're going to get more progress, why not just take that bit more? So any questions on the hamstring curl?
It's like setting yourself up markers before you go in.
Yeah. So like when I go in, I'll come in and before. That's actually pretty heavy. So before I even go in, like I'll never just be loose and just start going. I'll get in. I'll get myself tight. Full tension everywhere, and then go. So always set up first, and then once the setup is there, then you're in, and then you can just go through the set. With a leg press, this can be taken over into any leg press you use, even like a 45-degree one. So any cues I go through here, you can just carry that over then. So foot placements, what would you normally go? You jump in and show me, if you were to get on this, show me what you would do. Right, that's a pretty good position. So there, okay? If it was, it's basically, I like to try and go as low as I can without the heels lifting. Because the lower you go, the more bend in the knee. Because if your feet are up here, put them up here, right, there's not going to be as much bend. So when you come in, there's not going to be as much bend here. So if you have them lower, okay, and then you come in, there's going to be a lot of bend in the knee. And the more bend in the knee, the more quad. The more the quad stretches, so the more quad we're going to get. So I would say unless we're trying to target glutes, hamstring, and adductors, and if that's the case, which I program for a lot of females as well, it's going to bring a lot more glute ham adductor if you have your feet higher. Does that make sense? So it depends on what area, but I think for most people, feet as low as we can will allow us to kind of get more quad. And it's not just isolating the quad, it's still working everything. It's still working. You can't, like doing this, it doesn't mean your hamstring isn't going to be working or your glute. Everything's going to be working, but you'll just feel it a lot more and biasing like that area. Yeah, so there's a little handle there to the other side of you. Just pull that up. There you go. Right, so pull yourself down. Yeah. Could you go feet a bit lower with heels lifting?
Yeah.
Try to, yeah, there you go. Okay. That's perfect, right? That's good. Right, now sink this a little bit deeper if you can. Take your time, take your time, take your time. More. There you go, see? We're well able for it. So sink that as deep as you can. Everything is locked in. More. There you go. Yeah. Right. First set here. So just give me like 12 reps. Beautiful. Many start. So 2 more. Perfect, just go one more. That'll do the job, man. I want to be mindful because obviously, you're not doing a session, so probably do one more warm-up set, and then I'll take you through like a higher rep set, maybe like 12 to 15 reps. Don't want to go too heavy if you haven't been doing, like, we haven't warmed up properly. Perfect, so hips down. Sink it deep. Heavy. Sink it, sink it, sink it, sink it, sink it, sink it, sink it. Relax. So do you know what I'm actually going to do? And this, I'm actually glad that happens, because that was a bit heavy, right? So I'll actually do this sometimes. I'll actually go heavier than my working set and then pull the weight back for a working set. So put it this way, right? With this, you done 2 reps there. That was heavy. It wasn't dangerous, but you're like, right, I'm not going to be able to get like 10 reps out of that. So when we pull this back now, it's going to feel really light, much lighter than that. And it means you're going to be able to get like a really good 12 to 15 now. Does that make sense? So if you go in and it's too heavy, don't be afraid to be like, right, you know what? I'm just going to get out with this. And I'm just going to actually pull the weight back a little bit and then work at that. So don't be afraid to do that. Again, there's no rules. I think it's important as well, like, even when you're in sessions and you go into a session and you're like, right, I know what I'm going to do today. And all of a sudden something feels completely different to last time. Due to whatever, bad sleep, stress, something's off. Don't be afraid to auto-regulate and just readjust. Like, right, you know what, today, like, I need to pull that weight back a little bit. I'm going to still make it as intense. I'm still going to take it all the way there, but I'm just going to readjust. I'm going to, aim for like a 15 repper rather than a 10 repper, and just be smart. Listen to your body. Don't try and take the easy way out and be like, I'm just going to lighten the lows. I'm still saying take them sets all the way there, but if you have to like just readjust based off how you're feeling, how the day has went or whatever, do. You'll learn how your body feels and what it needs over time. And trust yourself, trust in how you feel. Don't allow yourself to take the easy way out, but trust in how you feel and kind of what you need on that day as well. You'll see a couple of bits I said to him there. Pull yourself down, hips down as well. So on a normal leg press, you'll have obviously the handles like just under you there. Here, obviously they're here, but always pull yourself down into it, pull the hips down into it. What a lot of people will do is they'll take their hands off, and sometimes they put them on their legs as well, especially when it starts to get hard. But it's completely counterproductive, because as soon as you take them hands off, the bracing is gone. You don't have that tight feeling. It's almost like you have to reset. It's dangerous, because if you just take your hands off and rest and then try and re-brace, your whole bracing is gone for the next set, which is going to be very heavy. So you're going to find it difficult, and you're going to want to be like, I'm going to take my hands off and like try and push myself. But keep yourself locked in. The more you keep yourself pulled in, the safer and the easier it's actually going to be later in the set as well, and the more you're going to get from it. So as you press back out, sometimes your knees will come in. I don't want that to happen. That's perfect there. That's deep, 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 deep. Now drive. See the way they came in a bit? Try not to let that happen. Just be mindful of it. That's a lot better now. See there? Deep, deep, deep. Right. You're going to want to start breaking form now. Don't let it break. Down we go. Keep it the same. Keep it the same. Deep, 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 deep. Yes. Here we go. Okay. Come on. These are the ones that start to count. Here we go. Yes. One at a time. Make them hard. Drive. That's still you, right? Reset yourself. You're going to have to really brace. Super tight for me. Powerful. That's much better. Same again. Show me. True. Okay. Make them hard. I want you to make them harder. Hard. Powerful. Right, don't let the knees come in. Down we go. Deeper. Yes. Now one more. Take your time. Make them hard. I'm going to pull this off you when you need it. Just make it hard. That's the one. One rep. That was a finger. Come on. Down we go. This is the rep. That's the one. Yes. More. Racket. Yes. Good. Excellent. Okay, you sit down there. You sit down.
Sean has set the bar.
Excellent. So, how did that feel? Well, I'll give you a minute. The thing is, right, James, again, trains very hard. But realistically, you saw the point there in that set that turns where I was like, it started to slow down, and I was like, you're going to have to work. And after that, he got like 6 more reps because he would have stopped there, but that's because his body was just like, it was getting hard, and it was just that oomph was going. And then you have to realize there has to be that point where you're like, right, this is going to start getting heavy now. It's going to start getting hard, and then that breaking point, he pulled himself down, he controlled his breathing. And he was like, right, I'm going to have to actually push through them reps. It's just important. I just want you to look at that and look at that point there, and then take that into your own training now and be like, right, I know when I start to reach that point. And then when you start to reach that point, take it and be like, right, I saw what James done. I saw that there was that extra bit there. That's what I need to be getting through. So, James, can you imagine if you were adding them extra 4 or 5 reps across every session, every set, how much more progress that's going to be? You're already putting the work in, but imagine there was that bit more and how much more that would carry over then into results as well. Any questions on this?
When we're going to failure,
Yeah.
at what point do you...
I should have put you through this.
At what point do you, is there a certain point where you sacrifice your form for getting them extra failure reps? Or, so, for example, he got the extra 6 there. Let's say the last 2 of the form completely went. Does he stop at the 4, or does he go to literally wheels fall off and
so
the 2, even though the last form of the 2? What way would you do? Would you walk that way?
So I don't think that broke down at all.
No, I don't mean him. I mean just in general. In general sense. So, like, say for example, if I was on it and say I was doing the last 6, but the last 2, the form completely went. My form went out the window.
Good question. I would say all I want you to focus on is making each rep as hard as you can. If you can make them really accurate, when you start to feel that form breakdown, you don't even feel the muscle anymore. Does that make sense? So, like, if you're trying to get that weight up and your form's breaking down, you'll probably feel like everything is working except your legs. You'll probably feel like hips, lower back, everything. And at that point, there's no point. So you could probably have pushed out maybe 2 or 3 more there, but like you said, his form may have broken down. And his like knees would have been touching and it would have been fucking, and I think that is just, there's no need. Because there his legs were there was no more from his legs. He could have grinded a few more if everything was working and he was bouncing up and down as well. But for him, I think that was a perfect failure point for his legs. Does that make sense?
But there's like a huge risk of injury. If you're like coming in like this, there's no stability there. It's like you end up not training legs. I thought that was a really good example of staying in the set.
Staying.
Like, someone that is really good for that is like AJ, and like being focused. I could see that he was on it, and he was thinking about every single time it was coming in and then exploding.
So yeah, staying in the set. That's what I said earlier on as well. Like, it's very easy you get 10 reps in, and your mind goes. It's gone. You know what I mean? It starts to get difficult, and sometimes, like, in the middle of a set, if someone says to me, stay in the set, just like rewires my mind, and I'm like, so if you say that to yourself, right, stay in the set, it just enables you to stay with what you're trying to do, keeping that same execution, and just being able to then not let things break down. Straps. Everyone's best friends. If you're not using them, use them. For your back movements, any sort of round, pull downs, RDLs. I even use them for like Bulgarians if they start to get heavy, or walk and lunge or something like that as well. Like, if you don't need to use your grip, you're not training your grip. If you want to train your grip, but like, we're trying to build your back, we're trying to build your hamstrings, you're trying to grow muscles. So like, if you want to train grip outside of like what you're doing, do. But if you're training back, train back. Don't just sacrifice the amount of reps and weight you're getting just for not using straps. So I always say, the amount of people I say it to, but it's just because you get so much more from using them. These are, I don't like figure eights, but some people, obviously these are, people probably haven't seen them before. The figure eights, so they're just a little bit different. It's just personal preference.
I find that straps hold pressure on the outer side of your wrist. You have bad wrist, you feel it a lot.
Yeah.
On the outer side, but them I don't feel
personal preference. There you go. The first 1 or 2 warm-up sets, I actually won't. Because I'll actually just think about, right, I'll just think about pulling try back, because grip isn't an issue. The weight's light for him, you know what I mean? It's not going to be an issue. So the first 1 or 2, don't waste time. Just go through, and then as the weight starts to build up, then, right, so T-bar, or any sort of upper back row. The main cue, I think, and the one cue that probably most people don't do, is shoulder blades. I always think, first thing is, imagine there's a pencil in the middle of your spine, and you're trying to squish that pencil with your shoulder blades. So think about it like, if you're literally trying to wrap your shoulder blades back and like squish the pencil in the middle. And if you think about that with every upper back row you do, like it's just, you're gonna feel it so much more from the upper back. So unrack. Slide down a little bit. With your body. Yeah, that's perfect. Try that. How's that feel? That's a bit better. You can even flare the elbows a touch more. So stretch into it, open, and now drive. That's better. See that? So they were a little bit too tucked there. So it wasn't as much up here, and it was kind of just more like all around here. So with them a bit more flared, does actually go again? Yeah, there's a lot more like upper back there now as well. So that's perfect. So think about it, like almost think of like wrapping your chest back. So row, and there you go. So chest isn't lifting, but think about like again, shoulders back. So wrap your, there you go. Feel that? That's more range again. So when you reach away, keep your chest where it is and reach away. Don't arch into it, reach away, reach away, reach away, reach away. See the difference? Yeah. Now drive. So see, he's not just like rounding over, he's keeping the chest tall, but reaching away from himself rather than just caving over like this. I think what that does, it just allows more range. Because if he keeps his chest tall and opens up more, it gives him more space for this to open. That's opening more. See what I mean? And then more range to actually drive back as well. Relax. See what I mean by opening as well? You were kind of opening and wrapping around, but just...
Yeah, trying to get the stretch a different way.
Yeah, just trying to keep the chest a bit taller just allows you to open even more as well. Good. Nice. Perfect, man. Yeah. Again, that pencil. Squash that pencil. There, yeah, there you go. One more. That'll do. Relax. With that setup, remember the first set I told you to slow down a bit? Yeah. So before you get into this one, slow down a little bit, and I think that should be bang on. Yeah. It's like when you're a bit higher, the first one, like I said, arms were traveling even lower. Mm-hmm. So when you slide down a little bit, arms can travel a little bit higher. Right. Yeah. There you go. Focus. Make them hard. Open away. Drag. Yeah. Right. Right, your form is in, so show me some aggression through the reps. Pull through the back. There. Aggressive. Around. Yes. Still good. Through the back. Be aggressive with it. Yes. Come on. Yeah. Drag. That's better. Go again. No arms. Back, 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 back. Take another. Flare the elbows a touch more. Fight through it. Come on, more. Go one more. Flare the elbows a touch more. Upper back. Drag. That's the one. Hold control. There you go. Good. Lovely. Good. How did that feel?
Yeah, better.
Yeah?
Yeah, better stretch, better everything.
Yeah. And it's just focusing more on where you're trying to work as well. And that can go into like any upper back movement. So a seated machine row, a barbell row, pendulum row, chest supported dumbbell, all upper back. Just think about elbows flared a little bit more than like a lat row or something like this. Always flared a little bit more, and then shoulder blades trying to pin them back. So like I said, it's the same movement pattern as a lot of things. So this carries over into like most other upper back rows. So if you jump into an upper back row, just think of them cues as well. Chest tall, reach away, retract shoulder blades back, and that pencil in the middle of your spine. And it's going to really nail the upper back a lot more as well.
Chest tight back. Chest tight and back.
Whoa. So with this, it's going to be person dependent on the size of the person, the length of their torso, the height of them as well. But like with this, I think for Sam, he was kind of like up here. And like I said, I just felt that was like too high as he rose, it was low. So I got him to slide down a little bit. So when he rode, it was like more upper back. Does that make sense? So like if you look, you don't want to be like down here, because when you row, it's going to be an ideal trap as well. And you don't want to be too high because it'll be too low. So I think chests there, yeah, around nipple height. Perfect. Yeah.
What about for some people's gyms, they have swivel handles instead of fixed?
Yeah. So, what, hand position?
Hand position, yeah.
Yeah. So, handles that move, basically, whatever's comfortable. I would say upper back was, I would say semi-pronated. So, what that means is, like, I wouldn't have it neutral. I would say that position there. If you go that position that feels good, great. But if there's swivel handles and they move, I'd say that's comfortable for most people. So as you roll like that, it still allows you to get the shoulder blades back. Sometimes that position, it doesn't allow people to get the shoulder blades back as much. But I think semi-pronated like that, as a rule of thumb, that will be bang on. I think that's why, if you look at, like a cable row, a cable row, that's why, like, I don't like the super narrow grip as well. I like something that's a little bit wider so that you can get shoulder blades back a little bit more. And then if you have an attachment with like handles that move, that's even nearly better as well. So you can just, whatever way, with more freedom, and you can dictate what way you pull rather than you being locked into a position.
It's all what works best for your range of motion as well. Some people will naturally find it easy to like come right here.
So range of motion is a big one, like I said, with them rows, with the narrow, you can only get so far. And you can't go any further because like you're limited with what's in the way. So a little bit wider allows you to come back more. And then honestly, the answer to a lot of things is it's person dependence. You know, so like I always say, even if I'm giving form feedback, I'll always say, like, how does this feel for you? Because if something looks perfect, say I give feedback, I'm like, right, try this, okay? And you try it. And you're like, you know what? No, that doesn't feel good. It doesn't, just because I say something doesn't mean it's gospel. Doesn't mean that something is, like, you could do something and you're like, Mark, you know what? No, it actually doesn't feel as good as what you say. This feels better because everyone's different. Everyone's mechanically different. So if something feels different for you, like, that's okay. You know, nothing's right. It's all person dependent as well. So listen to your body and then give feedback to me as well. Let's see what's working and what's not. Right, so incline, well, a lower incline, Smith press. Let me just go through a few bits. Let me see. Just do a few reps. Do you always hold it like that?
Suicide?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only way.
That's very suicide. Like that's usually like I know that's, if it feels, again, it person dependent. If it feels good, it feels good. Most people will not be able to do the suicide grip like that. Most people have to grip it. I have to grip it as well. But again, I think for most people, actually squeezing the bar or squeezing dumbbells or something will just give them that bit more power. But like I said, if something feels good for you, like for Matt, suicide, it connects well, and he kind of has to use it obviously with his wrist as well. So I want you to imagine this is like 100 kilo. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Imagine it's a working set. Drag it down. Hard, push hard, squeeze, harder. Has to be a harder contraction. Hard, better. Yeah. Even though you're not gripping, even though it's suicide, imagine you're rowing it in. So like imagine as you come down, you know what I mean? You're all right. Right, push. So here, right? Don't just let it come down. Imagine you're trying to pull that bar onto your chest, like row it into yourself. And when you row it in, it's almost like, yeah. So it's almost like you can create tension on the way down. Just go one more for me. So row it down. That's good tension. Yeah. And now press back through. That'll do. When pressing, it's a cue I always like to use, row the bar or the machine or dumbbells down. So rather than just letting them come down on top of you, imagine the chest is tall and you're trying to, imagine you're doing a barbell row, okay? And imagine you're thinking the same when you're actually in a chest press. So as you're coming down, you're rowing that bar into yourself. So you're almost like squeezing it and you're pulling it down. And that's just going to allow you to create a lot more tension through the chest and open up even more. So then when you're at the bottom, you have so much power because you've rolled that down. Everything is tight. Everything is tensed up. And then you're gonna have a lot more power and aggression through the bottom. So rather than just letting it fall down on top of you, or else, there's a difference between coming slow and controlling it. So anyone can like move a weight slow, but it doesn't mean there's any tension on the muscle. So you'll see, I like to train with a lot of control. But it looks like I'm going slow sometimes, but don't just copy that and go slow. It's actually controlled. So think about controlling the weight and feeling the tension rather than just coming slow. But slow means nothing because there doesn't mean there's tension there. So think about the muscle and on the eccentric, control it. But it's not about the speed, it's about the control with the muscle. Hopefully that makes sense. And again, this is a bigger movement, and Matt's going to be stronger enough on this as well. So it's going to probably require a couple more warm-ups than like 2. It'll probably maybe take 3 or 4 warm-ups. Because again, pressing, like you have your shoulders to warm up. You just need to get everything mobilized rather than you can't just put 10 kilo on, then put 40 kilo on, you know, because injury. Hard. Yeah. So again, full range of motion. Don't sacrifice the range here, like sink it as deep as we can, because that, like at that bottom position there, just go one more. At that bottom position here, there's so much tension here, there's so much stretch even everywhere, and then drive through. So that range, like a lot of people, and I've done it in the past, so everyone does it at some stage where you'll sacrifice the range, so like it will come like an inch off your chests just because you'll get that bit more weight. We all do it. And then what will happen is you'll do a weight where it won't be as deep as what you want, and you'll be like, oh, it's fine, I'll just clean it up next time. I'll just make it better next time. But just standardize that depth so that every time it's just, because what happens is, and this actually happened to me before as well, you get strong in a position, so you get strong like an inch off your chests, and you're going through and you're doing this week after week, and then as soon as you go below that, you're so weak in that bottom position. So I've done that before where I was going like not full range of motion for so long that when eventually a rep did take me further, I tore a pec because you're not strong in that position. So I'd rather get strong full range of motion so that, again, it reduces the risk of injury. It all comes back to that, because if you can't train, it's the only time you can't actually progress. So if everything you do is just being smart with trying to reduce the risk of injury, like I said, it doesn't mean you're not training hard. It just means you're being smart, so you're actually able to train harder for longer, basically. The thing is, with coaching, you're not buying the plan. Yeah. You're buying the adjustments that come off the back of that based off what's required for you as an individual. And the only way we know that is by, after setting a program, then keeping it close. So this is why I ask for feedback off everyone and videos as well, so we can see, right, how are things looking, how are things feeling, where's recovery? Because if there was no feedback from you there, we wouldn't have known that we had to pull that pressing back. Because do you know what I mean? So that's the importance of, if things aren't clicking, if things aren't progressing, if some things aren't working in sessions, give feedback so we can, you know, maybe for you it's not working. Maybe we have to adjust things. And yeah, I think that's important. It's not just me ask for feedback for the sake of it. So a lot of people, and I can see a few people that kind of comes to mind. So when you get later on in the session, or there's some sets, like let's say for example you get to your third or fourth exercise, and your reps actually start to drop off, and you're like, Mark, like I was the same weight this week, but I was 2 reps down. Sometimes we have to look at the bigger picture. Like, is that a bad thing? Because like if the first like 2 or 3 exercises within that session have progressed. You know, if you've seen like, let's just use an example. If we have a leg press and we've already done a leg curl, a leg extension and a hack squat, and every set we've done has progressed, and we get to the leg press and we get like 2 reps less, it's not a bad thing. Just because you've regressed, it's not bad, because it's completely different circumstances, because the muscle has been put through so much more stress. The leg curl has progressed, the leg extension has progressed, the hack squat has progressed. So just because your leg press may not have progressed, you've probably got so much more from it, and the muscle's probably broken down way more. So think of it that way. Don't just look at an exercise like, fuck, this hasn't progressed or this has regressed. Look at the rest of the session as well, because a lot of the time, if things are progressing across that, it may mean dip offs at the end of the session. Does that make sense? So don't just look and be like, shit, numbers are down, let that get you down. Look at the grand scheme of things, and there may be reasons for that, and it doesn't always mean it's a bad thing that things regress. Set. Okay. Roll it down. First rep sets the standard. There you go. Sink it. Strong. That's good. Yeah. Give me one more. Just fight it. Just fight it. Deep. Don't lose the form. Don't lose it. Strong. That's the one. That's the one. All the way up. All the way through. Only a touch. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on. Rack. That'll do. Good. Matt gets a clap as well. Right.
1 minute.
So that was 6 reps. So with rep ranges, this is a question I will get asked as well. If there's a set of, say, 6 to 8, and then a set of, say, 10 to 12, will you have to, like, reduce the weight for the second set? Like, sometimes I get Mark, I'm trying to do the second set of 10 to 12 and I can't do it with that same way. But of course we can't, because if we're aiming for failure within a rep range, so if we're aiming for failure within 6 to 8 reps, there is no way on earth, if we're hitting failure with 6 to 8, we have to drop the weight for that second set. So the weight is irrelevant. The rep range is just a guide of like where we want to fail in. So if we pick a weight to fail 6 to 8, Matt, for example, failed with 40 sides. So if we're aiming for a rep range now of 12 to 15, we're picking a weight where we're going to be able to fail between that. So we're like thinking realistically, we're going to pull it back to 25 a side. And I reckon that will allow them to fail within that rep range. So don't just look at sticking with the same weight. Readjust your weights to suit the rep ranges that you have. Does that make sense? There you go. That is like all delts. So what I would say as well, what I like to think of is, I think about like pushing fists down. So like imagine you push a fist down towards the floor. And now when you're pulling, right, don't think up, think push down, scrape knuckles off the floor, and then scrape them off the wall. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, listen to strength, you can feel like you can control it more. Then when you go on, like, let's say you're doing a set for 8 to 10, and let's say if you pick up, whatever, 12.5s or 15s, then we get a bit, like, you just overthink it, like, am I doing this right?
Yeah. I think if you know your form's good and you know what you're trying to feel from the movements and what you're trying to get from it, don't overthink the form. Because you're not going to let it get to the point where it's super sloppy. I'd rather you train hard and have the form good rather than overthinking it and just never reaching your potential when it comes to the set. Does that make sense? If you overthink the form so much to the point where you're like, oh, I'm just not going to do this because I think my form's going to break down, you'll never reach like where you can actually get to it in that set. So, do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's going to be harder. See, your body doesn't want to do it. Drop it down. Drop it down. So I'm actually going to make you work at this in a second. And I'm going to make sure that you do it because it's harder, isn't it? Yeah. So I won't cue, because as soon as you try and rotate that hand like that, and like rather than that, it's straight away more side delts. So I know we can work at that now and make them really hard for like 12 to 15. Yeah, just relax for a second, then we go in. Let's go. That's a bit better. Now you're going to want to fight against that, so just make sure the hands. There you go. Just keep it like that. Come on, let's get it moving. Right, focus. Full reps. Give me full reps. Full reps. More. Right, just keep moving as much as you can. Control. Full rep. Control. Full rep. Control. Full rep. Push the hands down. Go again. Go again. Go again. Keep moving. More. 4 more. Come on. Push. 4. Come on. 3. 2 more. Yeah. 1 more. Relax. Come on. Good. So, see, someone asked me a question about where to stop for failure. I forget who it was. But that there, right? When you got to 9 reps so there, you know that you weren't getting any more full reps. Because if you were going to have to actually just swing them up to get them. So instead of that, then partials. So still taking them as far as you can and then coming down and then going again. So with partials, I think at the end of a set, when someone fails and they're doing partials, they'll just get them and they'll be like, right, I'm done. And then they'll just go like this and just finish a few partials. But I think partials are still reps. So I think imagine you're still trying to do a rep. So with them, you were trying to do proper reps. You were trying to take them as far as they could go. And then where it stopped, where it wouldn't go any further, then you're dropping it back down. So a full rep was up here for him, but as the set went on and he was fatigued, it was only coming to here. So rather than just swinging them, he came back down. I was like, go again. He came to here. It was coming shorter and shorter every time because your delts were just fatiguing. So rather than just blasting out partials, keeping that tension on and just taking it as far as it will go. You know that every time it's going to go a little bit shorter. The same with any sort of partial, like even like if you're doing leg extensions, a couple of partials at the ends, rather than just getting to the end and just blasting a few, like just flying up and down real fast, doesn't really do anything. So with partials at the ends, extends as far as you can, even if it's only up to like 70%, great. Control it down, extend again, even if it's only up to like 50%, great. But treat them as reps. Imagine you're actually trying to get full reps, but your body just won't let you. Does that make sense? Just like that. Your body wouldn't let you get full reps. So you're just going to where you could, basically. There we go. Keep it a little bit tighter. That's better. So reach away. How does that feel? Does it, yeah? Dean was standing diagonal, so straight on, felt a lot better straight away. Then as he pulled through, what you were doing is you were almost like driving the elbow out and like rotating around. So again, keeping the chest tall, reaching away, and then when you row, not even trying to come out here, just trying to drive straight back. Yeah, 100%, that was a lot better. And the way I said there, with the feet kind of side by side, when your foot is behind you like this, it's very easy to row and twist around. A lot of people will just row and you'd move. You're actually doing this as well. You'd move, but you feel like you're doing a set. But like there's not much, let me just jump in. There's not much movements. So like it starts off good and it starts to get difficult. It starts to come around like this. So even though your body's doing a lot of movements, this elbow isn't really doing much. So if both, it's what's more comfortable as well. If I was to do it, that'd be my setup there. There's actually no pressure through this leg. Literally everything is through this. That'd be my setup. That's comfortable for me. And I know as I row, I cannot twist. So like even no weight there, I can feel my back contracting. So I know when that's loaded, it's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be everything. Whereas there, I can't really feel anything and I just know I'm gonna be able to twist around. So that leg planted, that locks that hip in, and then that hip can't rotate as you pull through. There's no right or wrong way to do rows or that setup, but since day one, that is the setup that's worked for me. And as soon as someone steps into it, straight away you're like, what? It just locks in because there's no movement in the hip, and it just locks you in so much that it's like foolproof. Any questions on this?
Just more so, instead of like when you're rowing, are you rowing back 90 degree elbow to wrist?
Good question.
Like this, because
yeah,
when he was going, it was bent here.
Yeah.
Instead of it being backward.
It's a good question. So it depends. Jesus Christ, it depends a lot. Like it's gonna be like more lap biased, if that makes sense. So like if you row like this, like that's what I mean, almost like arcing back, it's going to like be more lap. Does that make sense? Whereas if you row like this, it's going to be more upper back. So again, it's not like if you do this, it's not like you're not going to be working upper back, or if you do this, it's not like you're not going to be working lat. But if you do this, it will bias more upper back. You'll feel more upper back, and if you do this, you will feel more lat. Yes, guys. So that is the Uform seminar day wrapped up. Fantastic day. Super happy to see everyone down here today. Like I said earlier on, just good vibes. Everyone's in a good mood. It's nearly Christmas. It's Christmas week. Went through some training bits today. Had a look at a couple of people in-person check-ins. Obviously, a lot of the gang doing shoots this year. Shoot day is actually in May. And then shows for 25 as well. So great to kind of see everyone in person, have some in-person check-ins, you know, have a bit of banter and just set yourself up for a new year, basically. So, yeah, when I'm back in Ireland, it's always nice to link up with everyone. But now, it is leg day. My mum is here, she collected us. And we're going to go train legs and crack on with Christmas week. So, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And ring the bell. I got that off It's Just Bodybuilding.